This is a question that I get constantly on TikTok. How do I get loud? Now, I'm actually going to redirect that question. I'm going to put how to put together a well-rounded system. Now, I'm not going crazy in detail on this, but I'm just going through the main points that you need to have a well-completed system. And when you have a well-completed system, it's loud. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that I see 9 out of 10 people do is they just jump into straight big power. Now, that is not what you're going to want to do. The first thing you should be looking at is electrical. Electrical is the biggest part of your build. And I will preach this and preach this and preach this. If your voltage is going from that to that, whenever you are playing your system full blast, right, you need to upgrade your electrical. And that is just a wake-up call. Your system is begging. Buddy, please give me some more juice. God, give me some more juice, brother. I'm dying over here. I need more juice. People don't realize how big of a role the box plays in your system. It is huge. It is maybe, it's close second to electrical. Your box plays a monster role. You got a different size box. You got to look at your vehicle. You got to look at the tuning. You got to look at the equipment you're putting into it, right? If you have too big of a box, you're just going to be bottoming out, right? We don't want that. Tears up your equipment. You have too small of a box, it's going to choke the sub, right? Just not enough room for it to actually do what it's supposed to do. So when you're building a system, look at the vehicle application, right? A Suburban or an S10. You kind of got to look at what you're doing. You can have too big. You can have too small. You can have the wrong tuning, the wrong equipment in the wrong box. A bad sub can sound good in a good box, but a good sub can sound bad in a bad box. Bad sub can sound good in a good box, but a good sub can sound bad in a bad box, right? That's a bunch of gibberish there, but it's true. So when you're building a box or you're having somebody build a box, you kind of just need to know, what equipment am I putting in there? How much room do I got? How big of a box can I get? And then you need to just base everything else off that. You want to find a box that's relatively close to the size of the sub you're putting into it. So say you're running a Resilient Sounds 15, right? It takes 3 cubes. You're going to want to build a box around that. And the way I look at it is, if you're going to be running less or rated power, go a little bit bigger on the box. If you're going to put more power than rated, go ahead and go a little bit smaller. Now, I'm not saying drastic. I'm not saying go cubes smaller or cubes bigger. I'm just saying a little bit. And then fine tune your tuning to whatever you want to hear. Tuning kills people's systems, is what it does. If you do not properly tune your system, you're just asking for it to take a shit. I bleeped the word. You guys know what I said though. This right here, and I'm not selling this, is an oscilloscope. Now what this does, and I'll pop it up on screen here, you have a clean signal and you have a dirty signal. Now what that does in that dirty signal is it comes to a peak and it goes back down. That is clipping. That is not what you want in your system. That is going to tear up your subs. It's going to tear up your equipment. You're going to toss more money into your build, and nobody likes that. So take the time, tune your system properly. I'm going to have a ton of videos coming up about tuning with this little device right here. I have a bunch of different oscilloscopes, and hell, if you want, go watch my TikToks on it. But this thing's pretty simple. It's 30 bucks, and it makes sure that you don't blow your equipment. So when it comes down to tuning, look at your subsonic, your LPF, and your high pass. Whew, that's a lot of words. Now, all these videos are going to be coming up where I explain stuff like this. So if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that sub button, because we got a ton coming up. Now, tuning is just one of those things that if you just completely avoid and you go and you turn up the gain knob, you're going to tear stuff up. So help me out, help you out, tune your system properly.